Right now then, how's it going on down here?
Excellent. This morning we're making the sides of the trench more vertical, and that is revealing a floor surface which we had got a small portion of yesterday, and possibly a post hole, so it's looking really good. There is plaster underneath this floor surface, which means that it could be that the area, this build-up is in several layers, maybe a combination of fallen plaster walls, but shows a multi-phase construction. Maybe.
So you think you've got a proper floor then? What makes you think it's a proper floor? What's the features of it?
Opus Signinum.
Oh, what?
It's called Opus Signinum. It's a mixture of essentially like mortar, so like a lime mortar, and crushed pieces of ceramic building materials, so like bricks and tiles and imbustries and things like that. And so the Opus Signinum, which is the lime mortar, is a mix with those materials, and then that is laid down as essentially like a concrete floor, basically. And then they put usually on it, they usually stick into it like tesserae or tessera, if you want to go singular, or they lay pieces of tile on it, and that just kind of cements them into place.
So do you think you've got tile or tesserae on this then?
No, we have had 2 pieces of tesserae from down there, from a different floor, but this floor up here hasn't had any tessera or tesserae. So we don't know if it's been robbed out or cut away or what. If it has been cut away, we should see a lot more pieces of tesserae, sorry, it's plural, laying around, and we haven't. But we do know that this floor here has been cut away. This is a real edge, and that edge means that the cement floor, the Opus Signinum, has been cut away for some reason or another, and another floor has been put above it. And that floor is the one that the plaster we had removed earlier was laid on top of. It does seem like we have possibly another layer of plaster beneath the floor that we are now standing on. And now where Alison's feet are at, that's some more Opus Signinum, that really red stuff. And we got mixed patches of mortar and plaster throughout here again. Like, this is plaster, that's mortar again. So this is another floor, but it's not as a permanent floor for some reason. The Opus Signinum floors are usually a bit more permanent. They're usually a bit nicer. They're used in nicer buildings, and this is like the proper Opus Signinum that we usually look for, a big thick layer. It's not always that thick. Down there we have some pieces that are only about 25mm, 30mm thick, and usually we want to see something that's about 100 to 115, about 4 inches. But for whatever reason, we don't have that down there where the other floors at. We do have it there in that corner, but again, it's been partially cut away, and it doesn't seem like it came all the way across here. It only looks like it came up to about maybe here, looking at it in section. So it was only this portion that had that Opus Signinum floor. Opus Signinum is also sometimes used for underfloor heating and ceiling underfloor heating. It can also be used, so example, with the hypocaust types of tubes and heating apparatuses that we do see. I can't actually remember the name for the hypocaust fragments. There's a special word for that. But those are also potentially. Here we have found a lot of the hypocaust fragments over there, so there's a potential for underfloor heating here, and maybe the Opus Signinum maybe associated with that, and it was removed at some point. We know that up here at this layer we're still sitting in probably the late or mid 3rd century, and what we really want to see is probably a half metre down, and that's going to be that mid 2nd century that we were really looking for, which I think is starting to show up down there, but only at the lowest levels. So we've had several episodes of resurfacing. We have a little gravel layer down there as well, which is another floor, but that's not like a floor that's been cemented in place. It's only been laid out and compacted. It's almost like what you'd see in a garden, for example, or courtyard. However, next to what we saw on the resistivity survey that James did was the D-shaped apparatus, the D-shaped, how do you want to say it? The D-shaped signal, which we thought might be an apsidal building, or maybe a building of some form. There was some talk about it being the amphitheatre, but it looks like it's probably too small to be the amphitheatre. And it's also just a simple case that what we have right now that's come out is too thin of a deposit to actually give the big signal that we have seen on the resistivity scans. So there's definitely something else more below there. Maybe that's that foundation that we did see on the resistivity.
So it means then probably we'll be back next year then?
If there is funding, yes. What we're going to do is we're going to lay down a black fabric matrix and then cover over that. And if there's funding and permission and approval, then we'll come back and we'll go down a few more layers.
All right, thank you very much. Cheers, thank you.
So, yeah.